We have a birthday shout out, don't we, as well?
We do have a birthday shout out. Sarah Baum.
Sarah.
Hi.
There she is.
It's your birthday on Monday.
Yes.
Happy birthday for Monday.
Thank
We're not going to
you.
be here, but that's fantastic. Can everyone come off mute to just say happy birthday? Because it's quite a wonderful experience to hear everybody in the world.
Happy
birthday, Sarah.
Birthday. What's your gig in life? What's your thing? What's your passion?
I don't know. I want to say it's languages.
Yeah.
Because that's what it always used to be.
Right. Why did it used to be?
I grew up multilingual, and then I kind of fell away from learning any new ones for a while. So, I mean, I was born in America, but my father's Israeli, and his parents are Russian and Polish.
Right.
So I grew up speaking Hebrew, English, Yiddish, and understanding Russian. And I don't use any of them anymore. But I went back to work in June, promptly got bored, and decided to start learning Arabic.
Way to go. Wow.
Because
It's a beautiful language.
I've always been very, very curious about the differences between that and Hebrew.
Yeah.
Because they're both Semitic languages, there's a lot of similarities. And I think it's been maybe 8 weeks since I started.
Yeah.
And I am so fascinated by it. I don't think I'll ever be able to speak it, not without someone to teach me.
It's the only way really to learn the language, from my understanding, is to actually go to a country where that language is spoken without having any people to speak to in English.
Right.
So you spend 4 months doing that, you'll be on board with whatever language it is that you need to learn.
I'd love to be able to read it someday. That's the goal right now.
Yes, I believe that both Arabic and Hebrew are derived from the Aramaic, or the ancient Syrian language, I guess it is. That's where Syria was, although where Syria is, it wasn't any country once upon a time.
Some of the Hebrew prayers still use Aramaic.
Absolutely, and you hear shalom and you hear salam, and you go, well, that's not too different. And it's shalom aleichem, isn't it? And salam aleikum. And so those two things are very, very similar. In fact, there are more similarities between the two cultures than there are differences, which is hilarious. They both are picky about their food. They both sort of look down on drinking alcohol, and all the things that are part of Islam are, well, it's Muslim. Islam is derived from the Judaic religion. So they wouldn't tell that, but it genuinely is.
Share the ancestry.
Yeah, so share and swap gifts. That's how everybody should be. But it's pretty tricky to do that with some of the things that are happening in Israel. But I try not to touch on it because it makes me so angry. But it's And have you been to Israel?
I have. I was there. 2004 maybe.
Yeah.
With Birthright.
Right.
Okay, it's the free trips for
absolutely get to go back for nothing.
Teenagers. Yep. I had to fight a little for it because I didn't qualify outright as the child of a citizen.
Why?
Because that automatically makes me a citizen.
Oh, okay, and that might not be great.
Right. So I had to prove that I'd never spent any time there first.
Right. Okay.
After that, it was amazing, and I did an outdoorsy version of the trip.
That's great. So, and where did you go? Where did you find? What did you feel?
We went. I'm an outdoorsy person.
Yeah.
So we did a bike down a mountain, and I don't even remember what mountain it was now.
Yes.
The first time I had ever been on a mountain bike, and they sent me down a mountain. And I'm a long distance street biker.
Well, okay, so at least you could ride a bike.
Oh, yeah. Remembering that you can hit the bumps and not fall on your face was a very steep learning curve.
Yeah, you have to stand up. You can't. Yes. You just can't sit down.
And you have to not be afraid to go down the hills.
Yes.
Because the wheels will hold.
Did you go to like Bethlehem? Did you go to all of those places?
We went to Jerusalem and Haifa and Tel Aviv. I spent a night in the Negev in a Bedouin tent.
Wow.
Climbed Masada for sunrise.
What was your favorite thing? What was the thing that made you go, oh, wow, history? I'm feeling a bit of history here.
Oh, history. It's not even the history so much. It was the land is so old. We got off the plane, and it was an overnight flight. So we got off the plane in the morning and went on our first hike. And somewhere in that wherever we were, we found a cave with a stream going through it. And none of us were prepared for that. So we all kind of got down to whatever we were comfortable with and went swimming in a stream in a cave. And I can't even imagine a place in America that you could do that.
No, that's astonishing. That's amazing. I was there in 91, before the second Intifada. I was there again around about the same time as you. I was in a film, I didn't make it, but I was in a film called Miral, which is sort of about the crisis there. And there was a big difference I noticed from the first time I went to the second time I went. Mm-hmm. And I know there are some other Israelis here and people who live in Israel, maybe. I don't know if we've met anybody actually living in Israel at the moment. But at least I haven't. But there's a bit an obvious gloom right now because I think it's all a bit hysterical and fearful. And I don't know how much of it is manufactured, and I shudder to think, but I don't think there is quite the need for the amount of fear that there is in Israel as there is. I know Iran is a clear and present danger because they simply won't acknowledge Israel's existence, which is a totally crazy thing to not do. But I think some of these relationships will eventually normalize, and I just don't know what the future is for the poor Palestinians. I've tried to think about 2-state, 1-state. I mean, how does it all work? And it's very, very complicated. Intractable is the word. Mm-hmm. But I really, really loved, in my 91 trip when I was a kid, I was in my early 20s, I just had such a ball with the young Israelis, the IDF kids generally. Yep. But they're all this crazy blonde frizzy hair and these wild blue eyes and this dark white skin. Mm-hmm. We had a great time, and we shot a show called The Big Battalions. I've told other people a bit about this. I may have told you if you were here. I mean, that was a crazy incident. I shot on the Wailing Wall. But there was one or two really funny incidents that happened. And I'm eating into your time, so I'll continue your time, by the way. But we had one scene, and my character was a young English of Palestinian descent. So he went back to look for his homeland, his roots, his yada, yada, yada. And so we shot this scene in the big square in Jerusalem. And no one told the tourists we were shooting. But so we had all these people in like wraparound khafirs and all in the kind of PLO kind of back then colors. And it must have looked pretty intimidating. And then we had these fake Israeli Defense Force people coming in fake armored vehicles. And then they started shooting AK-47 live rounds into the air. And people scattered. I mean, some of these guys were huge. I mean, a lot of Americans. I remember clearly they all had yellow T-shirts on them. It said, "Cleaning up Israel." It was kind of funny. Yeah. I'll save the next story for another time, but there were several funny things that happened.
Okay, we're going to Amy G, who has been waiting and waiting for an opportunity.
Hi.
Hello, I see you again.
Okay, hi.
Hi.
I know, I was like confused about the whole, I missed like a bunch in the beginning, so I was confused about the whole setup with like, how do you apply to talk?
It's quick. Once you get to know, it's pretty quick. And yeah, no one's going to bite your head off either. Okay. You're in good shape. What a delightful looking set of cacti you have back there. You have like a desert garden.
Oh yeah, I like got them right when COVID started because I figured I'd be inside a lot. So I was like, let me get some pretty stuff to look at. Like that.
You were smart. And is that an you're somehow managing to keep alive an orchid back there as well?
Yeah, the orchid's seen better days. I never really had plants prior to this because I have dogs, but I was like, well, I'll like clean off the shelf because it used to be covered in like junk, but with all my work Zoom calls, I was like, I should make it look pretty.
It is pretty. It's really pretty. It's lovely.
Yeah,
so very
fingers crossed, because that orchid is starting to like die off.
Notoriously difficult to manage. Unless once you get it though, apparently they're really easy, but they're really difficult for lay people to understand how to keep an orchid blooming.
Yeah, I also didn't realize the fact that my apartment faces east-west, and so I only get like a half day of sun, and they're all like, let's have all day sun. And so
what sort of work do you do that you're zooming around everywhere?
Oh, I'm a database manager for a health insurance administration company.
Yeah, okay. It's a sentence, but it's great.
Yeah, I figured you'd probably lose track. It's just I look at spreadsheets all day. That's it.
And is it, I mean, do you go Google-eyed, or are you actually like, this is great, I know exactly what I'm looking for, and I'm doing it, and I'm happy, and that's great?
Oh, it's good. I mean, I kind of like stumbled into it. As like I started as a temp and ended up in this position just because the like micromanaging like aspect of it is like,
yeah.
I like being able to like clear everything out and make it all clean and stuff, but
yeah.
Well, especially I'm sure actors are probably like
well, you're super young, so you can do, you've got, this could be just a stepping stone to someplace else, but you might, I'm just getting to the point whether or not it is a stepping stone, or whether you love it and you can stick to it and you're going to go all the way.
Whatever. Well, right now, I like my company and I like the people I work with a lot, so that's kind of a huge, I mean, because I was at other companies where I did not like the people I work with a lot, so that's a nice piece.
I'm curious because I know how absolutely astronomically expensive it is in America. Mm-hmm. And also our friend Aaron Eisenberg died last year, and he had to set up a GoFundMe page to get a kidney and I was just incensed when I heard that, because wait a minute, I'm having to raise money to save myself
when you have insurance already. Yeah, and a lot of it is like what we advise people is just people who aren't familiar with how insurance works, and they're like, well, I want the cheapest plan. It's like, we have a family with 6 kids. That means you have to pay $10,000 out of pocket in 1 year before you get any sort of coverage. And, so we kind of like try to like, okay, well, you can get this cheap thing, but then we also have like gap insurance. I don't need to bore everyone, but it's like. No,
you're not boring people. People are being educated. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, even people in some other countries are being educated, because, you don't want to mouth off about America without knowing what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's like, that's the thing. Like, I mean, I have like friends and relatives and stuff who come to me now and are like, I got a new job, which insurance should I pick? And I'm like, well, here are your options. Cause I have like, people just want to look for like the cheapest plan. And I get it, because it is expensive month to month. But then there's the thing where it's like, when you do get sick or you get in an accident, something you don't plan for, then you have this huge like deductible and you have to go on GoFundMe or something like that. And it's not really like, and it's, you know what I mean? It's like people like, and I 100% understand, like not everyone has like the money for it and stuff like that, but you really.
It's astonishing. I mean, I'm interrupting you only because, I mean, the British system is not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. It really is having trouble surviving, and the waiting lists are getting longer and longer, as our friends from the UK will explain, but it's there. And as far as I know, people can look this up, because I can't remember the figures off the top of my head, but the taxable amount for the normal person is tiny a week. Yeah. It's like really, it's enough that everybody can afford to pay, put it that way. It's not so expensive that only a few people can afford to pay that particular tax. It's pennies. And if every single person pays that, every single working person pays that, then you've got yourself a system. And it's weird because it's a tax that is so tiny by comparison to defense and all the other essential things. I mean, I'm not saying defense is inessential. It is actually essential. But I mean, it's a horrible reality, you know, when you've got some countries like Russia. No offense to our Russians, but it's well known that they're not playing nice with the elections in America, and some of the elections around the rest of the world too. Russia, and you know the list goes on. The Ukraine. So that's defense. You need budgets for that. You need to put money into stopping that, so that when someone tries to knock at your door and sneak in the back window at the same time, you've got a camera there going, no, you do not. So I'm curious about how you fix that, because mainly, and it didn't ever occur to me until Erin asked for money, and I was like, what? Yeah,
it's unfortunate. You hear the stories constantly, and it's like, what do you know what I mean? And again, I'm speaking from like a health insurance perspective, and people are like, well, we should just get Medicare for all. I'm like, but we don't have it. So right now you need something to protect yourself. You know what I mean? It's like, that's a nice like goal, but in this moment we don't have it. And I want people who are not, you know, people who are like having to portion their diabetes medication and stuff like that. And it's just like, you know what I mean? Like you just, these horror stories. And the fact, I mean, my boss sent out an article one time about how like Gofundme would be like one of the top insurance companies in the world based on their revenue because of all of the medical things, you know, medical stuff they're raising stuff. And it's like, that's ridiculous. Like that shouldn't be your system. That shouldn't be this, you know, solution. And I think it's just like people don't want to pay for it because they're like, well, I like my fancy insurance. I don't want to like.
Funny, I've heard that, and I've got I've got this SAG-AFTRA insurance, which is the Screen Actors Guild insurance, which is probably the best insurance in the country. You know, we get everything done, and so I don't even notice what. But I never go to the doctor. My wife is furious. I never ever go to the dentist. It's terrible. But that's how to save money.
Sorry, my dog's barking.
Your dog's coming in? Are they in?
Oh, she's just barking because the package delivery. There.
Oh, that's your job, though. That's her job. She's supposed to spot when someone tries to break in.
I know. She takes her job very.
Steal all your meat.
Yeah. Anyway, yes. No. It's
great. Thank you for that. It was really good to get that off my. So I'm really happy that you got to explain a bit of that, because I don't really know, and
well, that's the thing. My hobbies prior to quarantine were seeing theater and traveling, and that's not an option anymore.
Or come tumbling down like
like I was literally supposed to go to New York to see like 6 shows on Broadway and like off Broadway the first weekend in April, and then I was like, please just like hold off COVID for like a month. Nope. And traveling, like I've been doing a lot of international traveling lately, and in recent years, and
it's been wonderful. Where's your favorite place? Where's the place that you would happily go back to, but not in business sense?
Well, we were talking, I mean, since Sarah was talking about Arabic earlier, I actually went to Oman last fall. My cousin works at the Foreign Services, and they're like, come and visit. I'm like, are you sure? They're like, it's fine, it's safe. Like, it is an amazing experience. Like, I was expecting something I don't know what I was expecting, but it was just like, I felt safe. As a woman, I didn't have to be covered up. I mean, I had to wear like you have to cover your shoulders and your knees, which is totally doable in terms of like covering up. But it was a beautiful country.
Yeah. Did you get to go swimming in the bay? I mean, it's stunning. I mean, they get dolphins there, and it's It's got the
Gulf of Oman, and they're like, oh, that's Iran over there, and I'm like, oh, great, hi.
Hey, good to see you again.
Thank you. You too. Oh, I've seen you. You haven't not seen me. That's the thing.
How are you, Juditha?
Cool. Very nice, to be honest.
That's great.
It's been a while, and it's been a while since I've been here, and since we all started this social club, since you and Mel started it.
No, we all did. We couldn't have done it without all of us.
Yeah, we had this immense pleasure of creating a community finding friends, but also we had the privilege to know you beyond your career, beyond your characters.
It's very kind of you to say.
We figure out that you kind of love weird stuff like quantum physics, Magic the Gathering. I would never guess that. But also that you really love food. Food really makes your eyes sparkle. You always happy to talk about it.
Yeah.
So 3 months ago, kinda, I've asked the beautiful people of our community, what are you cooking right now during the quarantine? What's your family's favorite dishes? What would you bring in case of a big city social club dinner?
Yeah.
People oblige, people responsive.
How fantastic.
I'm here to present you, dear Sid, is a special gift for you. I am about to show you our own Sid City Social Club International Cookbook. Yes!
Wonderful. Oh my goodness, it's wonderful looking. That's beautiful.
This project is 243 pages of food, art, family stories.
Oh my goodness.
It's really a record of what we eat and what we have done and where we were during lockdown. This is 111 recipes that people wanted to share with you.
That is just exceptional. That is just, wow. That is amazing. Oh my goodness. Well, we're going to have to find a way to make this available to everybody.
Well, see, it is available to everybody now.
Yay!
You can find it at sidcity.net/cookbook, and the whole shebang should be in Sid's inbox momentarily.
Judita, you are amazing, and everybody who has contributed, thank you so much. This is just such a wonderful, it's just a kid of this social club. It's one of the children of the social club. This has come from all of us. Oh my goodness.
I can tell you, it took like 100 people to complete it. Obviously, people submitting their recipes, but also amazing artists who contributed. People like Megan, who was there to support me, Laura, who proofed every single word to make sure it was correct, and it was such a support for me. Fiona also proofread and did most of the art. It was an incredible effort from a lot of people in the club, and we just wanted to say thank to you, actually, to making something that you might like.
That's just too much. It's too kind. I'm very moved. It's really, really sweet. Thank you very much indeed. I'm looking at the book and not the camera, but wow. That's so joyous. Thank you. That's such a joyful thing.
As you can see, like, it's people from all around the world, and for the community, I am really, really proud to say that you can download it for free, but we paired the website page with a little donation box, and if you decide to donate something, I can tell you that every penny will go to a relief fund for people who worked in film and TV, and right now it's quite a bit of a nightmare for cast and crews alike.
That's a really sweet thing to put in there. That's great. This giant Yorkshire Korean ground beef, oh my goodness, with a Thai twist. Everything looks wonderful. Thank you, everybody. I can't wait to look at it all. I can't wait. And Marlo, you've done I can't pronounce that, but not on the fly, and I'm pretty good. But I love your hands. That's your hands. How fantastic. This is just great. I think everybody's going to get a big kick out of this. And even the people who don't like cooking, you'll find something you think is doable and make it. Because this is a gift from us to us. Fuzzy dice.
Yeah. Some of the recipes are crazy. Some are like little heritage from grandmothers.
Wonderful.
I invite everybody to read, at least, not make everything, at least you want, but to read all the little stories, the anecdotes that people wanted to share.
That's so great. That's really lovely. That's that's the whole point of the social club. That's all it is, just sharing. That's wonderful. Oh, this is a really important document. Thank you, all of you. This sort of thing is crowdsourced, it's generous, and it's historically significant. And I want to shout about it from the rooftops.
Obviously, it's also filled with a lot of Star Trek, so you know us.
We love that. We love that. Yeah. Bitter old queen. Garakito. It's awesome.
We span everything.
Well, everybody has access.
Cocktails.
Yeah, everybody has access. They must all just please take it and make stuff and tell us and let's start. I will make some stuff and we'll talk about what about it. That'll be great fun. That is super kind of you, Juditha.
Oh, no, it was a pleasure. It was a hard work from everybody, but we really did it because it was an act of love towards what the Siddig Social Club meant for me, for us, for everybody. It was a light in the darkness.
For everybody, for me. Yeah, it absolutely is. It really is.
But there is another.
And how are you in your belly? Oh no!
There is another surprise. Yeah. Oh my God. But I have to pass the mic. I need to pass the mic to Almi for that. She's going to introduce you the next surprise.
Okay.
Hi, me again.
Hi, darling.
Hi.
Hi.
Oh, okay. So, oh gosh. Are you emotionally prepared for something?
I cannot tell you. I cannot tell you.
Mel, maybe, okay, start sharing the screen. Okay. Actually, wait, no, I'll okay. Whew, okay, so this is messages from everybody.
Wow.
Wow. So in late May, you and I spoke for the first time.
Yeah.
Within a few minutes, you had invited me back to speak as a Q&A for my readers. And within a week of that, I had made lifelong friends. We knew it from the moment we connected. We no doubt. And I found out that they were planning this cookbook, and I immediately thought, okay, I need to be part of this. And hey, look at that! You're wearing the same shirt. No, I got to tell you. So I had to redraw that hair a bunch of times because your hair kept changing. Because I started this in June, and your hair kept changing, and by some miracle, it now looks the same as it does in the picture.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness!
No, So I started this art within days of meeting these people, and it was meant to be just as part of this cookbook as a thank you from me, just to be put at the end, just as like little closing thing. And then
I'm very touched, and then I all these messages.
And I thought, you know what, I can't be the only one this grateful, so I made a Google form and I opened it up to everybody from here.
Wow.
And it was just that one art at the end. But then came in floods and floods of thank you messages. And I had to keep adding pages. I had to keep illustrating. I had to, I think, how many, was it five pages?
You're such a wonderful illustrator, though. These are really lovely.
Thank you. And the thing is that I think there's about 100 messages there. And I know for a fact that there would be more if I hadn't had to close the submission box so that I could finish this thing and send it to Juditha.
Sweet. That's really...
I just need to go on a little personal tangent here.
Please do.
This is something that is going to sound a little unrelatable to start with, but I think everyone will relate to it in the end.
I'm getting used to that.
Okay, so I started writing in 2012, and my writing got very popular. And so people would leave like a kudo or like a like or a little heart at the end of it. And, you know, they would come in the thousands, and they came in with like a username and like perhaps a nice message, but I knew nothing about these people.
Yeah.
They were just numbers. They were just usernames. Like I knew nothing about them whatsoever. And the appreciation became meaningless to me. And I was just obsessed with the numbers. And so eventually what I did a few years ago, I did a survey. I needed to find out who I was writing for, because I just didn't know. I had been writing for the majority of a decade, and I had no idea who was reading my stories. So I did a survey, and I found out that the majority, like 50% or more, of the people reading my stories were a white, able-bodied, neurotypical American cisgendered woman with a university degree. And I am none of those things. And I'm like, as much as I appreciate the amount of love that they had given me, it's like, these were not my people. I'm like, I felt like I was just in the wrong place.
Yeah.
And then I found myself in the DS9 fandom eventually, writing the kinds of stories that I have wanted to write all along. And now I'm not looking at the like count. I'm looking at the diverse people and who I know by name, by face. Yeah. This is the audience that I wanted to reach. These people in this club, these are the people I have wanted to reach this whole time.
That's very beautiful. And keep going.
And like, I'm sure you've noticed that the difference in me, like the first time we talked, like I couldn't speak, I couldn't breathe, and like I was shaking. And like I'm shaking now, but for a completely different reason.
We have family now.
Exactly. No, I found this community, the friendships, the support. I have this fire in me. I'm not afraid the way that I was before.
Yeah.
And I mean, this isolation that people all around the world are feeling from COVID, like being trapped in a place and like feeling like life has stopped. And like it's been, what's it been, like 6-8 months, something like that. And like for me, that has been the last 10 years of my life. Yeah. Since I was a teenager.
Of course.
And there's this terrible irony that everyone else is trapped. And now I am freed.
That's really beautiful.
And this thing that you are doing, that Mel is doing, that everybody here is doing, is listening. And it is so healing. And it is as important as medicine, not just to me, but to everyone in this time of like uncertain health. We feel comforted, we feel safe, and we're all making mistakes and learning and growing together.
Yeah. Beautiful. That's beautiful. That's just gorgeous.
Everyone, what was that thing I asked you to remind me about if I forgot about it? Everybody unmute and tell me.
We're family!
We're family!
Family! I'm not allowed to swear!
This community has grown into a family. at the beginning of this, I had one friend that I could talk to. I only talked to Prerna for, I think, at least a year. I could only speak to one person. I didn't have the capacity to handle anything more than that. And within this time, like, I have 100 friends. And I'm not drained by it the way that I used to be.
No, you're rich.
We are all making connections and changes to ourselves and growing to accommodate each other and each other's needs. And I am not the only one whose life has changed. The messages in this cookbook prove that. This is pulling everybody up in these hard, difficult times. And this cookbook, everyone contributed. Everyone put themselves into it. There's family recipes, histories, anecdotes. So you have a part of all of us because you have given us a part of you. And you have listened to us about everything we love. So we made something that you would love, out of love.
Thank you. I already love it. And thank you very much indeed. That is one of the sweetest things. And certainly makes me feel like one of the family, because you haven't been meeting an actor. You've got to hear about me. I occasionally interject my things and people are like, well, should you be talking about that? Well, either you know me or you don't know me. And you do. And I'm super grateful. And I love you all. I mean, I know there's a lot of you who come in and come out, and you get to do that, and it's free. You can hide your face, you can hide your voice. It doesn't matter. You're just be here, just be a presence is the important thing. And if you want to pipe up and talk, all the better. But if you don't. And that's what it's just lovely. I mean, that's just sort of really. I feel like it's like a kind of panegyric. So you really have to die to hear that stuff. So I'm very grateful to still be alive and hear that. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's beautiful. Thank you, and thank you all. We haven't finished. We're just. I think we're just getting started on some level. And I know that it's gonna morph. It's gonna change. But I'm gonna do my best to keep. If I'm one of the bindings of this community, then I'm gonna keep binding away. And if it goes, we have to do reunions because I'm away for 6 months, then someone will know that. But really none of it could have been done without Mel, who has done all the legwork, all the background, and the making sure the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted, and reminding me of when I'm getting some things wrong, and sending me discreet texts and going, you could do better.
You know what? We all read the article that posted on StarTrek.com the other day, and you got my pronouns right, and everything you said was wonderful.
Good. I haven't
really
read
appreciate
it, but I'm really glad. I'm really glad. It was, I think, Jay who was the columnist, and I could talk freely with a bit of confidence because I actually knew what I was talking about. And normally I would just have to hypothesize. So I don't really know any of those people, but they seem nice to me. And that's absolutely not what I wanted to be. So I was really happy to talk to her, and we talked quite nicely.
Okay.
Thank you. Thanks,
Thank you.
El Masi.
And thank you. El Masi. Thank you, Mel. Thank you so much, Mel.
Yeah, Mel, she's the backbone. She's the house, she's the foundation the houses that all of our houses are built on. She's provided a square for us to populate. Without her, she's our landlord. And I'm deeply indebted to her. And thank you, all of you. I'm already licking my lips to read these recipes and to read messages. And I'll come up with something. To pay. Thank you all. I'm going to clock off because otherwise I'll just start weeping.
On that high note, thank you, Elmi. Thank you, Juditha. And everybody who contributed. This is a beautiful, beautiful piece of work, and Sid, I can't wait for you to see it. And
I'm dying to, and it's going to become part of a kind of family. It's an heirloom already, I can tell.
All right. Well, we're going to wrap it up here today, going into the weekend on a high.
Again, have a lovely weekend. Be happy. Find ways to be happy. That's your job. It's your absolute job. Every day. Find ways.